Hello, everyone. Good afternoon, good evening. Thank you for watching us today. We have a very exciting week. Today is Monday, so we are going to start with a series of workshops, some webinars for you teachers out there. My name is Abdel Jacobo. I'm the academic specialist for University of Dayton Publishing in Grupo SM Mexico. And it is a pleasure and honor to have you all here to learn a very interesting topic. Today we are going to talk about e-games. Remember that a question that you usually ask us is about strategies to teach online. And one way to teach online is through games. So we really think this topic is pretty interesting and it's going to help you to develop strategies for your classes during these times. So let me introduce our speaker today, Luisitania Tapia. I'm going to read her bio so we can all have an idea about who she is. Let me introduce Luisitania Tapia. She's a full-time professor at Language Science undergraduate program at the Philosophy and Arts Schools in University of Nuevo León. She is a PhD candidate in bilingual education at Texas A&M University Kingsville. She has participated in academic, editorial, and research projects in upper, middle, upper, and postgraduate levels in both the public and private spheres, as well as secular and religious institutions. Her research areas of interest are translanguaging practices, educational technology, reflective teaching, and professional development for bilingual teachers. She firmly believes that teaching is a lifelong learning process that involves continuous personal and professional growth. The more teachers study to stay current, the more they will be able to meet their students' needs and world's demands. Thank you, Luisitania, for being with us today. We really appreciate your time and the effort you are making in order to be with us today. So, well, the microphone is all yours.
Thank you so much. Good afternoon. I really thank you. It's an honor to me you spend this morning, this afternoon with me, because I know that all of you teachers, you have a lot of things to do these days. Like you have to, I don't know, prepare assignments, check assignments, receive and send emails to parents and your students and school administrators. So I really think that you are here online in order to check this presentation. Okay, well, we're going to work today on e-games. Okay, so we're going to talk about learning games that we can use in the classroom, and then now that we are like teaching online, they can be also used. Okay, so an important part of using games is the use of technology and classroom management. Okay, so well, the materials that we're going to use today, well, it's any device like your computer, your tablet, iPad, your smartphone, and we're going to work on 2 web pages. Okay, I have designed this web page that is a Google site that is e-games enhancing learning and joy opportunities in class. So Abdel, if you can share the link with the teachers, please.
Sure, I will do it right away.
Okay, so I really want to thank my colleague Isaac Volado, who helped me to design this web page. So he supported me in the technical part to design this site. Okay, so there you're going to find out the materials that we're going to work today. So it's not necessary to take notes, to take a picture. Okay, well, if you want to, you can do it. Okay, but the information is there, so it's like you can relax and check the material that we're going to see today. And then the other one is a Padlet, in the one we're going to share our experience regarding games, because I know that most of you have used at least once games in classroom. Okay, well, Before we start the presentation, I would like to explore the site with you. Okay. So here we have the site, we have the section. Okay. So in this section, you're going to find out the handout that we are working with. Okay. Then we're going to find some templates in order to design our class using games. Okay. We're going to check some aspects to choose games, the appropriate game for our class. Then in this part, as I told you, it's like a very good, a very crucial aspect to consider technological and classroom management skills. So I have shared some information with you, then some useful web pages. There are a lot of web pages on the internet in the ones we can check, explore, and we get games. Okay, I have shared with you the ones that I have worked with and have been useful to me. Okay, and some information about me. Okay, well, the first activity that we have today is I would like that you share in this Padlet your name and where you are from. Okay, so right in this one, in the first box, it says, where are you from? So please type your name and where you are from. Okay, Abdel, can you help me to share the link?
Yes, I posted twice, but I'm gonna do it one more time.
Okay, the one about the site and the one about Padlet. Okay.
Oh, perfect, both of them.
Both of them, yes. So Padlet is going to help us to interact more and to organize the information that you are going to share with me this afternoon.
They both links on the box chat, the chat box.
I think that the link doesn't work because I don't see teacher's answer. So I send you again, Abdel, please.
Okay, yeah, Luisitania. Which one, the Padlet one or the
Padlet?
Padlet, okay. Maybe meantime is it okay? Maybe you want to repeat the instructions for the activity?
Okay, so you are going to type here in number 1 where you are from. Well, Anonymous says that is from Bogotá, Colombia, Argentina, Ecuador. Elizabeth, hi, from Puerto Rico. Cristina Castro from Guayaquil, Ecuador. Abraham Ruiz from Sayula, Jalisco. Hi, Abraham. Anonymous from Puerto Rico, Ecuador. Hermosillo, Sonora, Mexico. Roy from Mexico. Paola Machala from Ecuador. Paulina Amorosa from Cuenca, Ecuador. Jocelyn Cuato from Ecuador. Mérida, Mexico. Okay, Guayaquil, Ecuador. Thank you so much. I have seen that some of you have started work on these other boxes about advantages, disadvantages, and conclusions. Okay, thank you so much. But wait a minute. Okay, so we're gonna work later on number 2, 3, and 4. Now we're working only in number 1. Okay. So we're only working in number 1. So we have people from Spain, Canary Islands, Ecuador, a lot of people from Ecuador, Puerto Rico too, San Jose Iturbide, okay, Paola from Mexico, Mexico City, my favorite place, Milena Jaramillo, from China, and I work in Ecuador now. Okay, Cristina for Puerto Rico, Lina from Peru, okay, Carlos Guerrero from Guayaquil, Venezuelan in Ecuador. Okay, thank you so much. Okay, so now we're going to check the presentation. Okay, so, well, our goal for this session is discuss the characteristics, advantages and disadvantages, relevance and implementation of learning games in bilingual education classrooms. When we think about bilingual education, we usually think that bilingual education is like, in one side we have bilingual education, I mean content in English, and then in the other side, teaching English as a foreign language. Well, in fact, scholars like Colin Baker, he says that bilingual education involves both teaching content in English or any foreign language and teaching English or any language as a foreign language. So the examples that the information in general that I'm going to share with you this afternoon is like working with games in both cases, like teaching content in English and teaching English as a foreign language. Okay. So, and then the contents, we're going to check the definitions, the advantages and disadvantages, the role of games in bilingual education, like, are they important? Okay, do I have to include in my class? Number 4, integrating games into the lesson plan. Number 4, choosing the appropriate game. Number 6, use of web pages, and some conclusions. Okay, so we're hearing the definitions. We have that they are teaching tools with many positive aspects, including the creation of opportunities for students to communicate in a relaxed, friendly, and cooperative environment. Then we have that they are activities which are entertaining and engaged and often challenging. They are also activities in which the learners play and usually interact with others. And we have a third definition. They are recreational activities whose main purpose is enjoyment in the language learning process. Their purpose is to reinforce what has already been taught, okay? And I have highlighted some words like tools, activities, okay? And then some characteristics: cooperative, challenging, enjoyment, then communicate, interaction. Okay, interact, okay? Well, there we have that games should offer both, okay? Enjoyment, but also it has to be a learning experience, okay? Students interact, okay? Students cooperate, and they communicate, okay? So, and then we have advantages and disadvantages. So now, finally, let's go to Padlet again, and let's going to work on number 2 and 3, okay? I saw that some teachers have typed information there. Well, let's check what they have. And then if you haven't participated in it, do it, please. Write some advantages and disadvantages of using games in the classroom. Okay, here we have. There are some answers already. Like, for example, advantages. We have interaction in real time. They are fun. It's a good way to engage the students with the material. It's easy and fun. Fun for students. So maybe this teacher says, well, it's fun for students, but it's not that for teachers because it demands a lot of planning and material preparation and so on, right? Help students learn in a more relaxing way. Yes, that's very, very beneficial. Taking the pressure and formality of real teaching out. Yes, students enjoy the games and learn through them. Interaction at the moment, it's a good tool if we show you it's the use in a good way. Put the students in a good mood. They love competition, innovation tool. It's fantastic using class to motivate the students, class cooperation, to have real fun learning, fun way to learn, super connected to students, to have fun. Okay. Thank you for all your participation, teachers. It's a way to practice simulation in between to success and fail and keep trying to achieve the goal. Okay. Practice and useful to learn with fun. Okay. Well, and regarding disadvantages, Ana Maria Cisneros typed, the disadvantage is that sometimes takes too much time and distract them for the real content. Yes, sometimes they concentrate more on winning than learning, right? Ana Maria? Sarah says disadvantages, maybe they come for the points and make competitions that don't help weak students. Yes, good way to create cooperative environment, an advantage, sorry. So here I have more disadvantages. Alexandra Villegas, they get distracted. Sometimes the rules are not understood. Sometimes the control of discipline is not so good. Yes, that one is a very difficult point, right? We are like playing the game with our students. They are not like that organized. They do not keep discipline, right? Time to prepare in advance. Yes, so it's like we might spend, I don't know, like 10, 15, 30 minutes in the class, but we spend like 2 or 3 hours before the class to prepare the material. Okay, the rules are not respected from students. Yes, since they want to win, they don't follow the rules, right? And they don't sometimes they don't learn the grammatical rules. They don't practice the grammatical rules. Yes, totally distracted. So maybe this teacher is not that willing to use games, right? Well, it's valid. Students want to play all the time. Yes, once you use a game in class, they say like, teacher, in the next one, or like, are we going to play a game today? They lose interest, can make a lot of time. Not all the students have digital displays. Yes, that's a very important point. And then even teachers, sometimes we want to use, we want to work on a game in the classroom, but we don't have internet or we don't have computer in the classroom, so it's difficult, right? Abraham says it's not well planned. It could be a problem. Yes, so like Abraham is giving us a keyword, planning. Okay, it's important when we play games. Sometimes the rules are not clear and adequate to each level. Yes, students do not have habits to study. Okay, a disadvantage could be that the students get overexcited and then we have problems to manage that energy. Yes, or for example, if we give them like in the middle or the beginning of the class and then we want to come back to the books and like to the activities, it's like hard for us to make them work. Okay, they want to keep playing the rest of the class. Thank you so much, teacher. So we're going to take what scholars say regarding advantages and disadvantages, okay? And especially how to deal with that. Well, the advantages of game class is like they are welcome break from the usual routine of the language class. So we have to cover a program, we have to cover certain topics, and then we have to use the workbook to answer the workbook to cover certain pages of the book, okay? And we are like usually working on it, but well, it's valid that once, twice a week, we play a game in order to break the routine. And then they encourage the students to interact and communicate, okay? They are motivating and challenging, especially imagine that your class is at 7 a.m. Well, it's like a good tool to start with a game, right? I have a class at 7:30 p.m. every Friday. It's from 7:30 p.m. to 9 on Friday. So imagine, I usually start my class with a game, okay, because it's the last day, the last class. My students are not that motivated. So, and then that's how helped me to motivate my students. They provide language practice in different skills: speaking, writing, listening, and reading. So it's like we can practice the 4 skills and some soft skills such as grammar and vocabulary, pronunciation too, playing games. Regarding the disadvantages, so we have that the students might fail vision of the purpose. As you type in the Padlet teachers, yes, they are like more concentrated on winning than learning, right? Using games in the classroom sometimes fails due to the lack of cooperation among members of the class. Yes, they want to participate as long as they do not follow rules, right? Or as long as they follow their own rules, okay? Or for example, they want to play the game, but they want to choose their teammates, okay? Or there are even some students who are not that willing, who do not like games and they don't like playing games, that they see like a waste of time. They say, I come to class and then to play. So it's like, that is not a learning activity. Yes, that is also possible. It sometimes takes a lot of time to prepare it. I think that one is the greatest disadvantage, that, as I told you, we invest like maybe 2-3 hours planning a game, planning the material, and then we perform in the class, and then we spend like only 20-30 minutes or less. Okay. Students usually speak in their mother tongue to discuss instead of the language they are learning. Yes, that one is like also a great disadvantage, okay? That we play a game with our students in order they practice the language, they practice a skill like speaking or writing, that they speak in their mother tongue. Okay, well, there are scholars, like for example, Jeremy Harmer, who says that it's part of the process, okay? That the brain usually uses as a resource or as a tool, something about the prior knowledge, okay? So then regarding a foreign language, okay, the prior knowledge is the mother tongue, their native language. So they use it, okay? So instead of spending time like making our students use only English, we should make them to encourage them to reduce the use of mother tongue, okay? Even they are like advanced, they will be using Spanish, okay? They will be using their native language. Well, encourage them to reduce the use of native language, okay? So, and then, any question up to here, teachers? If you have a question, please type on the chat.
We have several questions, and since there are a lot of comments, let me read one that I think is very important and is being repeated. What about large classes, groups with 30, 40 students? How can you plan games with large classes?
Okay, well, that is something that we're going to cover later on, but let me tell you that in that case, we should play games and obviously organize the students in teams, okay? But we have to be very careful about the amount of students that we arrange in each team, okay? Like, could be like 3, 4 as much, but not 5 or more than 5, okay? So we have to be very strategical in the way we organize the students in teams, like how we're going to combine the students to work in teams, okay? So we have to check their learning styles, we have to check their personality too, okay, in order to arrange it strategically, okay? And then we'll monitor them while they are playing the game, okay? Another question? So one teacher says, sometimes there is no time because we have only 40 minutes for the class and the class is large. Yes, okay. Well, there are some possible things that we can do it. We can modify according to the time we have. And then, honestly, I have used extrinsic motivation in these cases. I have had classes of 40 minutes and I have had large groups. And then I usually start my class saying, okay, if we work hard, if we practice and we cover everything today, I'm going to finish the class with a game, okay? So and then they start like working and paying attention. And then at the end, we have like, I don't know, like 10, 15 minutes free. So we play the game. I think games motivate the students to be more participative. The students will distract when teachers don't use them according to the topic and level. Yes. There is another question says, are safe all websites for e-games? Not all of them, so we have to be careful when looking for them on internet. As I told you at the end of this presentation, I'm going to show you some websites that I have used, okay, and I have worked with in my classroom, okay. What kind of games could be for teenagers? That's also challenging, that to work with teenagers, because teenagers might like something once and they might enjoy, and the next day you bring another game or a similar game and it's like, no, this one is too childish, I want to play, this is for kids and things like that, right? So we have like some options for it, okay? But interaction, and I think that especially with teenagers, with all students, but especially with teenagers, try to use games in the ones they speak, okay, to practice speaking mainly, and in the ones they share information, personal information about them, or things that they like. For example, talking about their favorite band, talking about their favorite singers, like the athletes, their favorite TV shows, and they will be like more motivated to do it. Okay. So I'm sorry. Let me continue with the presentation. So, and then you might say, well, there are some disadvantages, and I think that is too difficult to me. Well, why should I use games in class? Okay, well, here I have three points. We have games motivate students to take part in the class, developing all the skills. So again, we see motivation, we see participation. So it's like games is a learning and also an enjoyment tool. Sorry. So games help the teachers to create context in which language is useful and meaningful. Well, since we have the book, students practice the language using books that they use like informal settings. Okay, so maybe through a game, we make our students to practice the language in informal ways. Outside, we are preparing the language, we're preparing our students to practice the language in all settings, okay, not only formal settings, okay. So a game can give us the opportunity to practice in different contexts, like formal and informal, to use standard and then to use vernacular language to understand. Why? Because at last, we are not preparing our students to get a certain grade in the exam, to pass exam. We are preparing our students in order they communicate outside the classroom with native speakers of English and with speakers of other languages, using English as a lingua franca. Okay, so they should practice different contexts, like formal and informal, to use standard and vernacular language. Then we have effort is required at every moment, and attention must be maintained over a long period of time, especially in content classes. Teachers, what you were telling me, maybe you have 3-4 hour class, and then you might say, how am I going to keep their attention? What about their attention span? Well, we can combine like activities from the book, our own activities, and then we can play a game and then go back to the books and so on. Okay. More questions, teachers. Tell me you have questions. Abdel, do you have questions there?
Oh, we have several questions. I thought you were reading. What about, we have a question which is, I think, very interesting. What about games I mean, is it the same way how they play games if you are a boy or if you are a girl? The question refers to gender.
Yes, I have seen this question. It says, what about the gender? Because girls might not like the same games than boys. Yes, or they might not like the topic about. Okay, like for example, if we play a game and it involves to practice speaking, and it involves discussing something or talking about a topic, and then students start talking about video games or cars, and girls don't like, they want to talk about I don't know, makeup and things like that. Well, I think that you should establish the topic, okay? So as I told you in the beginning, the planning is important. So instead of that, establish the topic, okay? And also negotiate with them. You might bring a game to the class, and then girls might not like, but boys might. Okay, well, negotiate with them, and you say, okay, next time I'm going to bring a game for girls, and then next week I'm going to bring one for boys, and so on and so on. So it's like negotiate with them. I think Kahoot it's a good tool for teenagers. Yes, I agree. So Neste from Spain, it says games must be a proposal, not playing games for the sake of playing. Yes, I totally agree with you. Okay, we have to have a learning objective. How can you control discipline when having games? Establishing a class policy in the classroom. Establishing a class policy since the very beginning of the course, of the semester, the school year, and reminding that class policy every time we play a game. Okay, I think that it would be step one of the performance. Okay, step one of our lesson plan when we play a game with them. How can we play it in an online class? Is there a page or video call app in which I can teach and also make my students play a game to reinforce the topic? Yes, I'm going to share with you in a moment, teachers. Okay, so, and then you may say like, when should I use games in class? Well, we can use games in 3 different moments of the class: as an introduction, that is in the beginning of our class, after the development of the lesson, so it's like in the middle of the class, right after the explanation of the essential topic of our class, and finally at the end of the class, okay? Well, we can use games in any of these 3 moments of our class, and for different purposes. Like, for example, as an introduction, well, it says to open a class in a stimulating way. As I told you, it's like it's 7 a.m. Monday and your students are not that motivated to participate. They look sleepy. Okay, well, you can start by playing a game. Okay, so and then check. I like these pictures because they show how they behave. They are like in silent, quiet, but once they play the game, or only by saying like, today we're going to start the class with a game, okay? They are like motivated, okay? This one we have after the development of the lesson. So and then in this case, we, besides we want to motivate our students in the class, we encourage them to practice what we have just explained, okay? I think that this one is the most challenging moment, okay? Because this is in the middle of the class. We explained, now we're going to play, but after the game, okay, we have to go back to the activities, maybe to the book or to their notebook, okay? So it's like very, very challenging. If you are pre-service teachers or in-service teachers, but are like, consider yourself as novice, or is the first time you teach that grade, the one that you are teaching in this moment, I suggest you to avoid this one. So it's like, instead of that, work with games as an introduction or at the end of the class, okay? But not after the development of the lesson, okay? So, and then after the development of the lesson, we play games to reinforce an item that the teacher considers necessary to review and or to practice. Okay, what does it mean? That the game will help our students to practice just what we have explained. So it's like, if we explain simple past, we're going to concentrate on practicing simple past, okay? If it's like phrasal verbs, we're going to practice only phrasal verbs, okay? And then this one at the end of the class. So these ones are the ones that honestly I like the most, because in this one we evaluate not only, or we practice not only one aspect of the language, okay? Only one topic or a set of vocabulary. We can evaluate several, okay? So maybe at the end of the week, we can use them to practice and to evaluate how much they have learned along the week, okay? So besides practicing only simple past, so we can use it to practice not only simple past, but also simple present, okay, phrasal verbs, but maybe también, but also third person in singular and like using es, things like that. Okay, so those ones are used for closing lessons in a stimulating way too. Okay, and then we practice more than we have just explained in the class. Okay, and then as you can see here, students are like playing with Kahoot. Okay, so it's like also we evaluate what they have learned through games. And then, so regarding our lesson plan, here we have the Bloom's taxonomy. I think that you are like very familiarized with Bloom's taxonomy. We usually think that playing games involves just remembering, like memorization, repeating and repeating several times a word, a set of words, grammar rules, okay? But we can also use them to understand, to apply, to analyze, to evaluate, to create. As I told you, if you don't have too much experience, and then if you have like more like disadvantages that you say that you have like your class is too short, and then your students, you have like more than 30 students in the classroom, well, try to start working on this one by developing this, remembering, okay? But later on, try to like challenge yourself and try to work on this, okay? So it's a good beginning to start by remembering, practicing this with your students, okay? But later on, take the risk to go to understand, apply, analyze, evaluate, and create, okay? And then we have integrating games to the lesson plan. I would like that you check the Google site that Abdel shared with you at the beginning of this workshop. And let's go to the section lesson plan templates, okay? So, and then in this section, we are going to find two templates.
Luisitania, can you share again? Because we are not seeing the web page.
Okay, can you see?
Now it's okay.
Okay. So, and then here we have lesson plan templates. And then here we have two PDF files. You can download them. And then you can see that Becker proposes these lesson plan templates in order to organize your ideas regarding the game. So and then check here, we have the template and we have the lesson title, total lesson time, lessons numbered, use at the date, okay? And then we have the learning, instructional objective, instructional strategy. We have games, students, games resources, okay? Lesson activities, what we do like pre-game before we play the game with the students, while we are playing the game with our students, after playing the game with our students, okay? So if it is a game to practice speaking, there might have like some mistakes, like for example, regarding pronunciation or regarding vocabulary. So you can collect while they are playing, and then in the post game, you provide feedback to everybody, okay? And then there, so these templates help you to organize your ideas and then to check a very key important aspect regarding planning and games, okay? I will suggest you, and it's something that I usually do. Well, I always do it, I guess, yes. When I play a game with my students, I even write, because I agree with you teachers, discipline, it's like very difficult to keep in a normal class. So imagine when we play games, right? Especially when we work with teenagers. Well, in that case, I recommend you to write down the instructions on your notebook, okay? to type in a Word file, and then while you are playing the game with them, show them the instructions, read one by one with them, okay? Sometimes it's necessary to perform the instructions with them, okay? So try to make like short instructions too. Then we have the teacher's guide template. Then in this one, help us to summarize certain details like game, the publisher, the developer, release date, perspective, audience, subject, grade, and then the writer give us some questions in order to guide our planning. Sorry, time to play, overview of the game. Okay, we need like online and out of the class teaching strategies, and then the references. Okay. So you can check later on. Any questions, teachers, you have regarding plan these templates? But Patricia Almeida says, should we correct them if the students make mistakes and we are playing a game? Well, I think that it depends of the kind of mistake. If the students if the purpose is speaking, obviously you have to prioritize communication rather than grammar. Like you should concentrate on fluency rather than accuracy. Okay, well, but if there is a mistake and students mispronounce a word and that word it's a bad word, like for example, if they say bitch instead of beach, well, I recommend you to stop and then immediately correct the student. If it is like a word that doesn't change, I mean, the mistake doesn't change the meaning of the word, it's not like that a bad word, you collect, then at the end of the game, you provide feedback not only to that student, but to all the students, okay? They even can take notes about those mistakes, okay? What is the best game for the children? Well, there is not like the best or like the most the appropriate, as I showed you, like for everybody. You have to check some aspects of your, some characteristics of your group in order to select the most appropriate. What might be appropriate or the best for my students might not be for you because of the age, because of their personality, because of their likes and dislikes, okay? How long should that game last? Someone from Toluca, teacher from Toluca. Well, in that case, I think that it's like according to the purpose. What do you want to do? Okay, what do you want to reach? What is your objective, your goals for the game? Okay, so it depends from that. Okay. Students are always motivated with games when we start the class. Yes. What kind of games do you recommend to play in this quarantine time with the students via online? I'm going to share in a moment, okay? Then we have an advantage regarding those games, online games. Why? Because they provide feedback immediately to students. So it's like we don't have like more things to grade, okay? We share with them the link and they can play at home, and then the webpage gives them feedback, okay? Juanaria says we can use a game in order to evaluate our students. Yes, so it's like right at the end of the class, as I told you, at the end of the week, you can use a game. Okay. How can we create a good feedback based on games? So as I told you, you are playing the game, and it's really challenging that you are like giving instruction, monitor the students, like following the rules, organize them, and things like that. Monitor they do not speak too much Spanish in class and things like that, but collect the mistakes, take notes on your notebook or even on the board, and then later on, as I told you, at the end of the class, you finish your class with it, okay, providing feedback to everybody, like in plenary, So let's continue. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. So we have, what games should I use in my class? Well, this is a question that you have asked me since the very beginning of the presentation. Well, as I told you, there is not like the best for everybody. Okay, there is like the best, the most appropriate according to the characteristics of your students. So we have to pay attention to these four factors. Okay, the purpose of your game. Okay, what do you want to reach with that game? To practice, to reinforce something, okay, to evaluate something, okay, to monitor, to check their prior knowledge, okay, just to wake them up, okay, the characteristics of my group, my technology skills and attitudes toward technology and attitudes toward games, okay, digital resources in my classroom, okay. Well, let's check. Regarding the purpose of the game, it's not just than fun, okay? So it's like, as I told you, they are going to enjoy playing a game, okay? But what do we want to reach, okay? This is very important. Do not play games with them just because you have like 5 minutes free, or just because you didn't have time to prepare your class, and then you say, today I don't have like my class prepared. What am I going to do? What am I going to do? I'm going to play a game with them, okay? Why? Because students might realize later on, like, the teacher bring a game because the teacher didn't prepare the class. So it's like useless, okay? So don't do that, teachers. It should involve friendly competition, okay? It's like challenging again, especially when you have girls in the classroom, and then if those girls are teenagers, right? So remind them, as I told you, remind them the class policy, the rules that they have to follow, to respect each other, to tolerate. Like, the most important thing in the game is learning, not winning, and so on. It should keep students involved and interested, okay? Well, regarding this one, keep all the students involved and interested. I have seen some teachers, I respect them, but I think that is not a good strategy to play a game with our students and to make a student pass to the front. Why? Because that student, besides that, students might be stressed because all of them are looking at them, all of them are looking at him, all of them are like paying attention what he is saying. That student is the only one who is interacting with the teacher. Okay, and what about the other? What about the rest of the class? They will be like maybe paying attention, maybe not. They might be like kidding each other, talking, okay? They might not have the chance to practice. So all the students should practice. They should be involved, okay? Because all of them have the right to interact and to participate. It should encourage students to focus on the use of language rather than on the language itself. So as I told you, we have to prioritize fluency rather than accuracy, okay? Like communication rather than grammar. But do not forget to provide feedback at the end of the game, at the end of the class. It should give students a chance to learn, practice, or review specific language material. Yes, like for example, you have an exam like the monthly exam or the week exam. So before that, you play a game. So it serves as them like as a checklist or like as a tool in order they monitor their own learning, okay? And then we have also checked the characteristics of the group, like how many students do you have? In my case, I have a group of 24 and I have another group of 10 students. Obviously, I shouldn't play the same games with them because I have only 10 in a group, but I have 34 in another one, okay? The age, how old are your students? 5 years old, 10. My students are adults, okay? But they love playing games. Okay, but how old are yours? Okay, you have to consider that. Their likes and dislikes. Like this one regarding the likes and dislikes is not only regarding academic topics, but it's also about like their personality. As I told you, their favorite bands, their favorite TV shows, okay? Their strengths and weaknesses regarding personality and regarding knowledge and regarding school. Okay, for example, Are they shy or not? Are they good speaking in public? Okay. Then their background, like what about their family? Okay. Their learning style. So let's go to, again, the Google site. And I have another resource there for you to collect this information. Okay. So here in this section, choosing a game, here we have two important tools: evaluating my technology and attitude self-assessment that we are doing in a moment. But let's work on this one first, knowing my students. In knowing my students, we have a Google form. So you can download and then you can use it, okay? If your students do not have computer, okay, so you can like print and share with them in paper, okay? So and then in this one, here we have name, date of birth, things that I like, things that I do not like, yeah, so they should describe themselves, okay? My classmates who are my friends are. So and then this one is like very important topic. So it's like sometimes it's beneficial to make the students work with friends, sometimes it's not, okay? So this information helps you a lot. My ideal teacher should be, so this one could be like in order to check their expectations toward you. I live with my parents, my grandparents, my older brother, okay? I want to improve in this course, like speaking, grammar, okay? What I like the most about school is, what I dislike the most about school is, my favorite subjects are, my least favorite subjects are. So in this case, teachers, if you are like teaching English as a foreign language, you say, well, I'm not like teaching a subject, like for example, I'm not teaching math, chemistry, but you can use topics that they see in their favorite subjects to play games, not only to play games, but also to play activities related with those topics that they like, okay? Or topics related with their favorite subjects, okay? My favorite sport is, sports are, I'm happy when. So maybe you need to modify these, like if your students do not know how to read and write yet, so you can like check these questions and ask them in a different way, not through a Google form, okay? So you share with them, they answer, and then you monitor their answers here, okay? So, and then this form and this information that you are going to collect through this form is not only helpful for playing games, it's helpful for like all the activities, all your course, okay? Because you are going to know your students best, okay? So, and then, well, playing games usually involves working in teams or working in pairs, okay? Especially when you have large groups, as you have told me, okay? Well, making it work, we can come with an agreement about when and how to use different students. It's like, as I told you, negotiate with them. Like sometimes it's useful, they work with friends because they always want to work with their friends. Well, as I told you, if it is at 7 a.m., they are not that motivated. Just for that case, let them work with their friends, okay? If the topic is like kind of difficult, if the activity involves speaking and they are not, I mean, they are very shy, so maybe it's useful they work with their friends, okay? Because imagine if the kid is shy and then the kid is shy and the kid will communicate in a language that he is learning, it will be like more difficult for him. So in that one is valid, okay? It's beneficial to make to make the kid work with his friends, okay? Friendship, should our friends sit with friends? Well, it depends, as I told you, okay? Finishing first, okay? This is a very common case, okay? That we play a game or any other activity and there is like always a group of students who finish first, than the other ones, okay? And they are like start misbehaving or speaking in Spanish and so on. So it says we need to have a series of challenging tasks related with related extensions for early finishers, so that when a group has finished early, we can give them an activity to complete while they are waiting. Teamwork should have a mixture of weaker and stronger students. Yes. Okay, so analyze their abilities, analyze their knowledge, their language competence, and then organize the teams. Okay, but anyway, you're going to have students who finish first, like 1 or 2 teams maybe. So maybe they can help you. The activity to complete while they are waiting could be like to help the other teams, to monitors, okay, to work on the next activity, maybe to work on the homework, but don't tell them, okay, so start doing the homework. So you say like, so you already finished. So I have this extra activity for you, okay? Then we have awkward groups. We can separate best friends from pair work, or students who were friends and they are not anymore. Yeah, that one is like very difficult when working with teenagers, okay? So it's like you say, so I'm going to avoid these students work together because they are like very good friends. But suddenly something happened among them, and then now they are not friends anymore, and then you ask them to work in the same team, and then it's like, oh my God, so it will be like the environment will be like tense, and it will be stressful for you and the group and the students as well. So try to monitor what happened with their relationship, okay? And we should not put all the high status figures in one group, like all the ones that are popular and so on, because the other ones might be like shy to participate, okay? So let's take more questions, teachers. Okay, let me check some questions. Can you give us links of grammar games? Sure, I'm going to share in a moment. It says, in my case, I use Microsoft Teams. I like to know how students can work in Teams without interrupting other groups in real time. Yes, that's a very good tool. How is it possible to know my students on virtual classes? Well, maybe you know a bit of them since you were like teaching them in face-to-face, okay? But through these forms, you can teach them. So you send the file and they answer while they are in class, or like in free time, and later on they send you, and then you can read the information. Okay. In fact, it could be a writing activity too, like to write about themselves, or to prepare like, I don't know, a PowerPoint presentation about themselves, so you can monitor their language competence and also you know about them. Okay. John Velasquez from Bogota says, how to keep all my students involved and interested in an online class when it comes to 50 students in an online class? Oh my God. Well, in that case, I think that you should interact with them, okay? So it's like interaction is very important in face-to-face as well as online classes, okay? A good strategy, it's like looking for web pages, for apps that help you interact, okay? I don't know if you checked last Thursday workshop that it's by Abraham, and Abraham gave us lots of tips about how to interact with the students in an online classes, okay? Like one could be the Padlet. I guess Abraham didn't use Padlet. Abraham used like Mentimeter or something like that. Well, that one is useful too, Padlet. So they share, they participate, okay? And you can monitor their answers, as I did in the first part of the session. What platforms do you recommend for adults and teens? I'm going to show you in a moment. I used to do in my class in order to know my students. The questionnaire that I shared with you. Yes, I agree. We need to be careful when choosing educational games, and feedback at the end of the games make the process suitable for the next games. They are excited, waiting to see what the teacher has to say at the end of each game. Playing educational games totally motivate the students when working with different types of activities. Yes. Okay. So, oh, I'm sorry. So then we have my technology skills teachers. How good are you with technology and attitudes toward technology? Okay, so we're going to monitor ourselves, okay, in this one. Let's go back to the Google site and we are going to check another form that is there. Okay, this one, knowing my students, is to know about my students. Okay, well, now we're going to explore our teaching skills and beliefs. Okay, here we have evaluating my teaching skills and attitudes. It's self-assessment. So you are going to evaluate your own skills and attitudes towards technology. Okay, this self-assessment is from, well, it was adapted from Santrock. Okay, well, in this one, here we have 15 statements. Okay, and we have to select from A to E. It says, how good are you with technology skills? How positive are with your attitudes about using technology and incorporating it into your classroom? For these items, consider the grade and subject you are most likely to teach. Rate yourself from A to E, with A means not like me at all. E, very much likely, okay, like me. So we're going to read one by one, and we are going to select from A to E, okay? Since we don't have like too much time, let's going to check from 1 to 7. Later on, you take time, you evaluate yourself, but let's check from 1 to 7. It says, I'm reasonably proficient at using computer and installing and uninstalling software, as well as using tablets and mobile devices. So, and then put a check mark for A, B, C, D, or E. I know when and how to use technology to improve students' understanding. I have ideas for using word processing together with other language learning resources in the classroom and know the best apps to use in teaching. I know how to search efficiently and thoughtfully for information that interests me in the internet, as well as how to vet the quality, accuracy, and sufficiency of information that I find on the internet. I have ideas about how to use the internet in my classroom. Well, the ones who are like logged and have internet in the classroom. Okay. I'm proficient at using email. I'm sure that you're proficient, teachers. The last week you have used a lot, right? I know how to use PowerPoint. I mean, this means, well, I just display the PowerPoint without any interaction, any discussion, without monitoring if my students are understanding what they think about what I'm saying, about what I'm sharing in the presentation. Okay. Are my presentations eye-catching? Okay. Do I include a lot of information in the slides? Okay. So you can monitor your teaching. Okay. So, and then let's gonna check the scoring and interpretation. Later on, you take time to read carefully one by one and to select according to your skills and attitudes. So it says, look at your scores for each item and evaluate your technology strengths and weaknesses. By the time you step into your classroom for your first day of teaching, making it a goal to be able to confidentially rate yourself on each of these items at the level of D or more. On items on which you rated yourself A, B, and C, try to take technology courses that will improve your knowledge and skills in those areas. What does it mean? That you answer, okay, teachers? And then if you find an item that you have marked A, B, or C, you need to check because you need to improve your teaching, your technology skills regarding that item. For example, I know how to use PowerPoint, and then you mark A or B or C, so you need to improve the use of PowerPoint and the design of PowerPoint for your classes as well. So then here, again, in the Google site, we have improving skills, and I have some suggestions for you. It says the following links include online workshops and a web page that can help you to improve your teaching and your technology and classroom management skills. And those are the links about other workshops that have been offered here by Grupo SM. Then you can learn about technology. For example, we have assessment online by Isaac Volado, Becoming a Technological Teacher by Fernando Pérez, Desarrollo de Habilidades Digitales by Mariana Rangel. It's in English, it's in Spanish, but it's useful anyway. Effective Classroom Management by Blanca Luni. This one is tomorrow, right, Abdel?
That's right, it's tomorrow.
Okay, so teachers, tomorrow at 12:30, you are going to, you can attend this workshop, and then in order to prepare yourself regarding classroom management. Okay, las metodologías activas is like, I think that is in this week. I guess that is on Wednesday, and then like cooperative learning is for Thursday. Then we have a web page that is professional development for bilingual teachers. Okay, this one is a project that I developed with one of my co-workers at Universidad Autónoma de Nuevo León. We designed a web page regarding professional development. It includes 6 modules. The third one is about techno-teaching, the teacher as a digital immigrant moving from technophobia land to techno-geek land. And then we have like an introduction, and then we have 4 activities that will help you to improve your technology skills, okay? Then here you are going to have some supporting resources like books, web pages, YouTube videos, okay? In order to learn about technology and how to use technology in class. Okay, then we have planning online classes by Abraham Ruiz. This one was last Thursday, and using Smartboard in the classroom by Abraham Ruiz. Maybe you attend these online workshops, maybe not. Well, you can click on the link and check the workshop, okay? Maybe you attended and then you say, but I didn't take notes, or I didn't consider this. Well, you can watch them again and then take notes about what they are saying and try to apply to your classes. Okay. So, and then, as I told you. Okay, for tomorrow we have effective classroom management, and then on Wednesday we have formación, las metodologías activas, cómo llevar la innovación en tu aula, okay? And on Thursday we have online cooperative learning. All of them help us to improve as a teacher. Especially these 3 help us to improve our teaching skills regarding education, okay? Here we have. And then we also need to check the digital resources that we have in the classroom, okay? Well, nowadays, I think, well, during the last weeks, I think we have more resources since our students are at home. Yes, some students do not have internet at home. Some students have to share their computer, okay? But let's check the scenarios, the 3 possible scenarios that we have in a classroom, okay? Well, we might have no computer and no internet. Okay, so this is like the conventional classroom. The teacher has the board, a piece of chalk or a marker, okay, and there is no computer. And then you might say, well, everything that you have mentioned is nice, it's interesting, and I agree with you, but how am I going to use games with my students if I teach with a board and a marker or a piece of chalk? Well, in that case, you can bring the computer and the internet to your classroom. How? Well, you use the computer and the internet to plan your class, to plan the game, to design the game, or to look for a game on internet, and then you bring it. So you can like print some material in the teacher's room, maybe at home, okay? And then you bring the material to your class, okay? So you use the computer and the internet not to play the game with them, but to design the game, okay, before your class. And then there is another one scenario that it's like you have computer in the classroom, but you don't have internet, or maybe doesn't work well. Well, there are like more possibilities in this case, and you can use in the class. Okay, this is my case. Well, sometimes I have internet in my school, but honestly, I do not like using because there are like, I mean, the quality is not that good, so I prefer to work on the computer to play games with them without using the internet. Okay. Well, then we have like the ideal, okay, where we have computer and we have internet in the classroom. There are even some places, some schools, in the ones teachers have computer and internet, and students have their own computer or tablet, okay, and they have internet too. Well, this one is like great, okay. As you see in this picture, the girl is like in an interactive board, like using the board and things like that. Well, that one is like, as I told you, the ideal, but it might not be the case of us. Well, I'm going to show you some possibilities for each, okay? So, and you can apply these three scenarios to online classes in this moment. Like, for example, we might have like online classes, but maybe your students do not have computer, do not have internet at home. Well, you can share with them, okay? Like, go to the school and then leave the copies there, and later on they can, their parents can attend and take them, okay? Could be possible. It sounds like difficult, but it's a possibility. Or maybe your students have computer, but they don't have internet. So I'm going to show you in a moment, okay? And or your students have computer and have internet at home, and it's like great, okay? So and then you just share. Maybe you have online class, you share the link with them, and then they can answer at the moment you are online in the online class or later on, okay, as homework. Okay? So let's check some questions before going to the examples. So Eli from Ecuador says, what kind of games are they useful for students who have special needs? Well, in that case, you need the support of your of the rest of the class. Okay, so it's like, I think that it's like really challenging, but it's also a good opportunity in order to work with social emotional learning and to practice cooperative. Okay, so your students, the rest of your class should be cooperative and support that student who has special needs. Okay. Monica Revilla says, may you share us some website resources where we can find games for downloading and practicing in the classroom without using the net? Yes, that's the next part of the presentation. Let me take more questions before that. There is one teacher who says, like, how can we plan games for our classes if per week we just have 3 hours? Well, I'm not telling you that you should play games every class or every week. Maybe you have just the opportunity to play once a month, okay? Or every 2 months, okay? So Anonymous says, it's like, could you repeat information about the questionnaire you mentioned some minutes ago? Well, the information is like you share with your students, like in the Google form as I show you, or you print and then you share with your students, and so you collect information about themselves, like what they like, what they don't like, they are good at, they are not good at, their favorite subjects, their favorite topics, okay? So and then based on that information, you design your class, not only the games, but also the activities, like, I mean, the class in general, okay? The more you know your students, the best, okay? Okay. Do you think it's acceptable to use games every day in class, Monica? I don't think so. I think that you should use like once a week or maybe twice. But if you have students who are like very participative, who are like very responsible, so that they always attend class, that they always like do their homework, okay, I won't do it. Okay, I will use like as much once a week, like once every 2 weeks. Okay, but not like every day, because you have a program to cover. Okay, you have a syllabus to follow. I think that you won't have enough time. Well, in the case you do it, well, try. I remember that like 2 semesters ago, I had a group of 3 students, only 3 students in my class. And they were very participative, they were very responsible. They always attended class, they always did their homework and things like that. But it's like once in a while. Okay, so it's like you don't have a group like that like every semester. Well, in that case, I played every week at least one. And in some cases, I played twice a week. Okay, and it worked. But I think that it worked because of the characteristics of my students and obviously the amount of students that I had in the classroom. Only 3 students, and it was like great. Okay. Oh, I'm sorry again. So, and then finally, teachers, where you were asking me since the very beginning, we're going to check some useful web pages. Okay, I'm going to share web pages that I have used in my groups. Okay, as you know, okay, if you hear Abdel since the beginning when he introduced me, you could hear that I work with, especially with teenagers and adults. Okay, that some of my students are pre-service teachers. Okay, so in my classes, in my content classes, I have to include information, I have to include resources regarding kids, because my students study to become English teachers or bilingual teachers for kids. So I have tried with them, and I have tried with my little cousins. So yes, I know that it's not the same as like in a real class, okay? But it works, okay? I have experience in those web pages, okay? So here we have a MES English, tools for educators, Ed Games, ABC Dan, ESL Games, okay? So before checking the questions, let's go in to check those web pages. Okay, I have opened these web pages before. I'm going to show you my favorite first. Okay, this one is Ed Games. Here we have PowerPoint games, we have Excel games, Word games, and those ones are templates. Okay, so this one is ideal for the setting or the scenario where we have computer but we don't have internet, or we have computer but and we have internet in the classroom. Check, you download the template and you can use it in your class. Let me show you. For example, this one. I have downloaded this PowerPoint presentation that is aligned starts. Okay. So you download at home in the teacher's room, then you put it in a USB, and then you use in your classroom. Okay. And then this one is like kind of tic-tac-toe. So you prepare a set of questions, okay, to ask them during the game, and you use the PowerPoint template, okay? Once you finish playing the game with our students, you close the file, and that's it. Thank you. Abdel, can you see the template?
No, actually we are seeing just your camera.
I'm sorry. Now?
We are seeing, yes, a PowerPoint.
Okay. Very slowly. Can you see the presentation? No, right?
Can we see it? We see it as a PowerPoint format. I mean, not a presentation.
Okay, it's there. And there we have the instructions. Okay, so you can read one by one. You encourage the students to follow the instructions, follow the rules that you have established, and then you start playing. Okay, so and then you divide your group in teams. Okay, and you assign a color to each team. Okay, so you can ask them the question. When the question is right, they choose a start, and then you color according to the color you assign. Okay. So and then they are like playing. You color the starts, and then the purpose is like they align 4 starts. Okay. So and then it's good. I mean, as you can see, you don't need internet. You just download the template. Okay. So let's check more web pages. So this one is Ed Games. This one is ESL Cafe. Well, this one, ESL Cafe, is a web page in the one teachers can find lesson plan games, okay? And then they can consult different games, okay? Most of the games that are here do not need any material. They don't need any internet, and they do not need any kind of material, okay? Or material as like the student's notebook, the board, okay? Check how short is. So you read the instructions and then you play with your students, okay? Maybe you can modify them. You are the ones who know your students the best, your group the best. So modify if you consider that is like, that will bring more benefits to your students, okay? That will be easier for you to deal with it, okay? Here we have tools for educators, okay? We have word search, dice maker, board game marker, crossword maker, okay? So in this one, since you are like working, you have like home office, well, what you can do is like, maybe, I know that it's like time consuming, okay? And it's a lot of work, but maybe you can like check these web pages, select some games, print them, and then leave at school, and then the school and then parents agree in order to get that material, and then students can work at home and play at home, okay? If not, you download or you share with them while you are in an online class with your students. Then we have English for kids, okay? And then we have like lots of activities, okay? Here we have word games, okay? We have phonics and phonetic worksheets, okay? Puzzles, okay? Here we have this one, ABC. Well, this one is for the classroom where your students and you have internet and computer as well, okay? So and then we have world games, okay? So and then as you can see, you need to register, and that is like premium, okay, section. Well, just with the free section, it's like, it's okay. Obviously, you're going to have more benefits if you join to premium. Okay, but I think that it's like enough with the free version. Okay, so and then you select, and I'm sorry, my Flash player is blocked now. Okay, but this web page gives you the opportunity to play like online or to download too. Okay, so there are some web pages that offer like two options. Okay, here in the Google site, you are going to find those useful web pages. Okay, and then I included like a short description of them. Okay. So you're going to find here games from all of ages for teaching content through English, for teaching English as a foreign language, with technology, without technology, with internet, without internet in the classroom. Okay. Here I have free online dice and coin flip ready to be used in the classroom. Okay, this one is not exactly about games, but it's like material that we use for playing games. So and then it says click the button or dice to roll it. Okay, and then the team gets like 4. Okay, and then this one, flip a coin, heads or tails. Well, heads. Okay. So maybe teachers, this will page just like to select the best game, to modify maybe, but not, I mean, you don't start like from 0 to prepare your game. Okay, you just like select and modify. Okay, so conclusions. It says, planning is a key factor when implementing games in class. The more you know your students, the best. Okay, as I told you, collect as much information as you can from your students. Okay, evaluate both human and technological resources you have in your classroom. Like, for example, if you need to print some material, okay, so will the school help you support, or you have to pay for them? So maybe you plan an activity and then it's in a game and it's individual, and then you have to get a copy, and then you say like, oh my God, I'm going to spend a lot of money. Well, change. Okay, so if the school will pay for it, well, do it. Really flexible, you might need to improvise and or to modify the game. So, but be careful. I mean, how much flexible you will be when it's necessary to improvise. Okay, to modify a bit the game, not like completely change the game at the time you are in the classroom. Okay, instructions must be clear, concise, and direct. Okay, so it's like, be careful. Start with a verb, make short statements. Okay, and try not to speak too much when you give instructions. Okay, and finally, I love baseball, and I want to share a quote from a baseball player that I associate with playing games. Well, playing baseball and also playing games in the classroom. It says, never let the fear of striking out keep you from playing the game. So maybe you tried once and then the things were not well playing the game. You faced a lot of problems and things like that. Well, that was only one day, okay? So you can evaluate the strengths and weaknesses that you have, like the areas of improvement that you have when playing games with your students, and then later on, you take the time to prepare to design a class using the game, and then try again. Okay, keep trying and keep practicing using games in class. Those are my references. Okay, thank you so much. Okay. I'm going to give you the link in order you provide feedback and obtain the certificate. Thank you so much. Abdel?
Thank you, Luisitania. Actually, I posted the link for the survey on the chat box, so it would be useful for you. So hold on, because I'm going to share the calendar for this week. because they've been asking for. So
Okay.
let me start sharing, okay? So give me a minute. Working on it. All right, dear teachers. Thank you, Luisitania. It was a very, very interesting session, a lot of resources. And just a quick reminder, that site, the Google site that Luisitania created, and as well Isaac, we are going to keep them for you. So you can always share with other teachers. You had resources, you have handouts, you had the Google formats, in which the Google forums in which Luisitania gave you all the ideas for a diagnostic of likes and dislikes. We have resources, we have pages, we have a lot of things, right? So we're going to continue. We want to continue keeping the discussion after the webinars. So we are going to keep those sites for you from this webinar, and then we are going to start feeding the sites with activities and handouts and presentations, everything that is possible for you from other webinars, not only from this one and Isaac's one. So please share the links. Yes, Luisitania.
We have included our email in the case teachers want to send us an email for questions or for sharing more ideas about the topics that we have presented.
Perfect. This is something that yes.
I thank all the teachers who send me emails, who have sent emails, because I still receive emails from professional development, the workshop that I participated, the first workshop I gave. And then, well, I'm waiting for your emails for this one, for this session again.
Perfect. Thank you, Luisitania. And I really appreciate your speakers are sharing your personal emails to answer questions, because 90 minutes is not enough, and you know.
Yes.
So that's one of the announcements that I had to tell you, that those sites, Google sites, we are going to keep them. So check again all the resources and pages, because we understand that right now what you're asking for is online activities. That's what we're doing, right? And on the screen, you can see the calendar as Luisitania recommended. Tomorrow, we're going to talk about effective classroom management. It's going to be very interesting, right? Even so, we are online. We have to keep our classroom management. Mixed ability classes also is a question you all have. What happens if I have students with a different level and abilities, level of English, skills that are different? So we're going to learn strategies to work with mixed ability classes. And finally, on Thursday, we're going to have online cooperative learning, because this is something we are also working with, and we understand how important it is to work with this approach. So thank you one more time for watching us. I will see you tomorrow. Well, I will hear from you tomorrow. So please share with your colleagues, share with more teachers. We are building a community through this time. So we really believe in professional development, and we are really, really thankful you are here with us every single day. So please stay safe, stay strong, have a nice afternoon or evening, and I talk to you tomorrow. My name is Abel Jacobo, academic specialist for University of Data and Publishing in Grupo SM. Bye-bye.